Okay, now we're going to see about the special and government business organizations. Special organizations mean like franchises and business combinations which were started very recently. That's why they are called a special business organization. So franchise means the mother company, the real starter, will give the authority to sell their products and distribute their products to the person who is coming forward to purchase that authority. So the main parties are the franchisor who gives the authority, franchisee who purchases that authority and runs the franchise business organization. So the main the main document which commences the franchise is, it's like, I agree that I will pay you a certain amount. You must agree that you will be giving your product to me under some sort of conditions where I will be getting your brand name, logos, and your product. That's what works out in a franchise agreement. So the payment method between the franchisor and the franchisee is the royalty payment. So what does a royalty payment mean? For example, you all know KFC. KFC is the main franchisor, where the franchisee of Sri Lanka is Abans. So what happens is that whenever the Sri Lankan KFC one chicken burger is sold, Abans has to pay maybe 40 to 45% of that price to KFC. That's it. That's a royalty payment. So that's how the payments here work. So other than the product, the franchisee gives more services to the franchisee whenever a franchise business is started. Like he can get the permission to use the trade name, like you can use the same name, like Zinger Burger, or maybe the trade names, the product names, and management training, marketing assistance, financial assistance, those sort of required technical knowledge are also given to the franchisee by the franchisor. Other than that, if you see the franchised, according to the agreement, the franchisor there are some sort of conditions followed by the franchisee, like making the capital investment, whatever the building that is brought down to as by the franchisee has to be incurred by the franchisee. And other than that, the conditions has to be followed. From the authorized supplies only the raw materials should be taken, and the payments has to be paid on time. So other than that, the types of franchises are the product franchise one we have, which means the franchisee is going to get the products directly from the franchisor, and he can resell to the market with using the same brand name without changing the brand name. So here only the brand name along with the product is obtained by the franchisee. Next, the manufacturing franchises means you can produce and distribute with the brand name. The product could be produced within the country and could be distributed with the same brand name. For example, we have is Coca-Cola, Pepsi-Cola, are like manufacturing franchise, which means they are produced within the country and distributed with the brand name. Whereas in the product franchise, it is produced by the franchisor and he gets it and sells with the same name. And the business form and franchise means it is the same as, whereas whatever the franchisee does is done by the franchise. The complete business procedure is obtained from the franchisor and it is given to the franchisee and he follows it. Then there are some sort of benefits and limitations to the franchisor, like he can expand the business without very low amount of investment. He will be getting a return on investment spontaneously, and which means whenever a new business is started, the return on investment, it will get a huge long of time to get the investment. But here it is obtained spontaneously, and the marketing costs, all the costs are shared, can decide the terms in the agreement. Like he will be franchisor will be dominating the agreement, and he will be nourished by the franchisee. If you see the limitation, there are some chances it might get unsuccessful if the market is not properly analyzed, and the goodwill could be affected if the franchisee is not capable of maintaining the goodwill, and sometimes the franchisee might cheat the franchisor and retain the profit. And the same as for the franchise, the goodwill, success, publicity, etc. obtained very easily, because already that brand name is famous among the people, and the management training is obtained, financial support and raw materials could be obtained at minimum price, because franchisor is going to give some sort of discounts to the franchisee. And the limitations is dominant. The franchisor is going to be dominated by the franchisee. Franchisee is going to be dominated by the franchisor, and there's going to be high cost, because obtaining a franchise is not so easy. There will be a huge amount of cost where franchisor will be charging, and there's a certain level of risk that it might get unsuccessful. Now we're going to see about the business combinations. Business combinations means it's like two or more businesses are going to get combined and work as a business, conduct a business activity. So we have mergers and acquisitions. So mergers means merging. Two companies are going to get joined, are going to get merged and going to work as one company, whereas there are no more two companies. There are only one. As one company only, they're going to work. And acquisition means it's acquiring. One company is going to acquire another company. So whereas they're going to purchase the majority ownership of another company. So the company which is purchasing the majority ownership is known as holding company, whereas the other is called as subsidiary company. So we have the types of combinations, in which manners where the combinations could happen. One is the horizontal manner. Horizontal manner means in the product level, they are into their product chain, they are going to be in the same level. For example, DSI is going to purchase or going to acquire or going to merge with Bata. So they are in the product chain, they are into the same level. Vertical combination means whereas in the product chain they are vertically combined, whereas the one leather producing firm is going to acquire a shoe company. So that's how vertical combination work. Conglomerate means two different product chains, two different companies in two different product chains are going to get combined. Like one shoe producing company is going to acquire or going to be merged with bakery company. So the conglomerate combinations are done in order to reduce the risk. Even though one industry falls, the owners can get the profits from another industry. That's why conglomerate combinations were started. Next, we are going to see about the government sector organizations. Before that, we need to know why these government sector business organizations are important. One is to control the pricing levels, because if there are no any government organizations in an industry, the private sectors might go ill-mannered when they are pricing. Then in order to reduce the monopoly effects of the private sector, in order to give the national defense, to provide essential goods at reasonable price, in order to minimize the wastages, minimize wastages means the private sectors do not consider the externalities, and to provide non-profit large-scale projects where those are not done by the private sector organization. Now we're going to see about the state corporations, authority, board, institutions. All means the same. So they are started under a special or general act. General act means it is going to be existing. It exists already, or maybe they are into a general form. But if it's a special act, means it's going to be started for a very, very filtered special purpose. Next, we have why state corporations. They are to give the efficient services to the public at a reasonable price. So fully or majorly owned by the government, whereas the state corporations work on, whereas they have the board of directors appointed by the government. So board of directors means they are going to work as a private sector organizations, whereas still they are monitored by the government. So the funds are collected by government loans. The government might give loans to state corporations or reinvestments. Like if they have obtained a profit in 2019, that could be reinvested as a capital in 2020. And they obtain debt capital, which means the public gives debt capital as treasury bills and treasury bonds. So we have examples like Sri Lanka Transport Board, Mahaweli Authority Sri Lanka. So Mahaweli Authority of Sri Lanka is again under a special act, whereas Sri Lanka Transport Board is under a general act, like General Act of Highways and Transportation. But Mahaweli Authority of Sri Lanka is started in order specially for Mahaweli. So Mahaweli Authority of Sri Lanka was started under a special act. All right. Next, we have government departments. They are entirely owned by the government ministry. It comes under the ministry. Whereas they provide services, mostly the services like giving examination, providing education. These are like services. They provide most of the services, and they don't have legal personality because government departments are the government. They are the government. Because of that only, they have no legal personality. So whenever a legal presentation is required, the head of the department has to present him or herself. And the funds are collected by the annual budget, whereas they are relevantly filtered for the relevant departments by the annual budgets. Next, we have the state companies. State companies are started as public limited companies incorporated under the Companies Act, but still they have 51% of government ownership, whereas 49% is owned by the private sector. So we have Sri Lanka Insurance Company Limited, Sri Lanka Telecom, State Trading Companies, Litrogas, all comes under state companies. So state companies are actually more efficient all along because they have the government support as well as the private support in like half and half. Though it is 51 and 49, half and half is there. So that's because they are more efficient. So local authorities, these are the small types of business organizations run by the provincial councils or the urban councils, and they are administered and funded by the local authority from the central government. So this is how the fourth chapter works. So get to know the explanation why each and every business organizations are important so that we could score a lot of marks. Thank you.